If you're wondering when to trust yourself, when to trust God's voice, stick with me. I'm excited to share my journey with you and help you believe and know that God has a plan for you and you get to do anything you want to do, but it's up to you. In this video, you'll learn how to recognize God's voice as your intuition. Know that what you believe are failures are actually lessons. And again, you get to create the life you want. In 2015, I took a look at my life and I was exact opposite of where I wanted to be. Everything looked great from the outside. I had a husband, I was married, full-time job, our house looked great from the outside, my kids were healthy, so everything felt like it should be right on the inside, from the outside. But on the inside, I was empty. I was struggling. I was running on a hamster wheel and I knew something had to change. So I have taken those steps in the last almost 10 years to get to where I am today. And I just want to share that journey with you and give you hope and inspiration, because if you're like me and you want your life to be different, it's really up to you to take those steps, but with God guiding you and trusting your inner voice. One of the things I've been working on is really trusting God with my finances. So once I found this blueprint, I knew I had to share this with other single moms like me that were struggling. So if you're interested, just put ready in the comments. It may or may not be for you. It's a free blueprint that I've been following to learn to make income online. And again, my heart is to share this with you. So comment ready if you would like the blueprint. So in 2015, it was on my list to go to church. I grew up Catholic. I didn't understand it. We didn't talk about it at home. I find it confusing. To me, the Bible was just confusing. Going to church was kind of boring, to be honest. As a teenager, I didn't understand it. But once I had kids, I felt like there was more. I felt like there was more. And to me, that's just God calling me. That's one example of me hearing his voice and following him. Anything that's inside of me that gets me excited, that fills me with love and joy and peace, comfort, all the fruits of the Spirit, right, is in my mind, God guiding us towards knowing him, towards that next step, towards that desire. So I remember in 2015, I went to church, and that is where everything changed for me. I sobbed. And again, when I listen to worship music, that is God speaking to me. I don't remember the words exactly today, but it was this feeling of being heard, being seen, being known. Like, here is God who created us and knows everything in our mind, in our heart. And it just felt like it was like this calling, and I finally found him. I finally found a journey to start trusting myself and to start listening to my heart's desires, because God puts them there because he knows we want more for ourselves and for others. So that was my breakthrough in 2015. And I went to a Bible study, I would call it, with the book called Stuck, because that's exactly how I felt. I felt stuck. And I knew I needed to do something different. So that was the beginning. And that is literally everything else started falling into place. I also started network marketing in that season of life. My health was not great, but I trusted a friend and I knew I had to do something different. So I got on this, system and just totally changed my life. I had always had an interest in learning to make income on a side gig because I wasn't 100% fulfilled in my job. So I was always interested in, all these, Tastefully Simple. I had someone from Amway come over. My mom was in Arbonne. Like, I always had this desire, but I never found anything that felt in alignment. So that's another thing, like something that feels aligned in your heart. You might try something and you might decide this is or isn't for you, but I got surrounded by people that encouraged me, loved me, and that felt good. Like, to me, that's God loving me through people. And I started coaching with people. I started building a team of people. I started believing in others. I was pouring into myself in ways, and then I was able to pour back out, and that felt so good. So I know that is my passion and purpose now, is to really hold space and to listen to others and to help others, because I've invested in myself and I've done that for me. Now I feel like I have that. I have so much inside of me to do that for others. So I knew I wanted to coach people. I knew I wanted to encourage people. And I knew I wanted to, help people hear God's voice and give him glory for everything. Number 2, failures are lessons. right? So I think we were born or raised, I was anyway, that, gosh, you can't fail, you can't make a mistake, you're going to get in trouble. And so I feel like I failed my way through life, but I have this different perspective now that every failure is actually a lesson. I get to choose what I think about that. So I believe I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I believe everything works out for me, right? Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him. So I have this belief because I trust God's word, everything is working out for me. If I make a decision and it doesn't feel right, there was a lesson in that. So what was the lesson? I've signed up for different coaching programs. Some felt good, some felt no, not great, right? I could look at my marriage and say it was a failure, but obviously I don't want to do that. I have 2 amazing kids. I learned a lot of lessons. I'm thankful for that experience. I now know, what I want and what I don't want in a relationship. And it just totally changes your perspective and your mind when you decide that you're not failing. You're actually learning lessons, and it truly is life-changing. Number 3, have a vision for your life, right? How many times are we told if you don't have a vision, you will perish? We're taught to make vision boards, and that's all great. But I've learned this year, it's about actually like feeling. How do you want to feel when that vision comes true? I worked really hard on my relationship vision this year. I did a lot of dating and got really clear on what I wanted in a relationship, and it took me saying no to different people, different things, knowing that that does not fit my vision. So while you have to be crystal clear on your vision, you also have to say no to everything that's not in that, right? So for my relationship, I had certain standards, I had certain values that I wanted in a husband and a man, and I had to say no to anybody that didn't fit those. He may have been this or that, or cute or treated me well, I might have felt good, but I knew I needed someone that had that faith, that foundation, and believed in God. So that was a no-brainer for me, because I did a couple relationships where he didn't have that and it didn't work out. So I knew I was crystal clear on what I wanted. And it goes with anything, right? Whether you're building a business vision, whether you are, your health a vision, right? And let's be clear, who doesn't want more income? For me, I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I knew I needed more for life. So I started my business 5 years ago. I started that, and I can say, oh my gosh, I barely made a dime yet doing that. But you know what? I don't feel like it's a failure. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Again, this may or may not be for you, but if you're interested in the free guide that I've been following to earn income online, just comment ready below. I'd love to share it with you. And I love bringing God into our business vision and praying with him. And God is our CEO. What do you want from me? So if this is a pulling on your heart, that's him saying, check it out. It's free, right? You don't have to do it. You don't have to make a decision today. But if you're feeling like, yes, I want more. Yes, I have a desire for more. That's God saying, go for it. Number 4, overcome fear with faith. So I literally do not fear anything anymore. I grew up fearing a lot of things. I had a fear of death. I had a fear of losing people. As I became a mom, I feared my kids getting hurt. I feel like I was that helicopter mom for a while, but then I learned to let go. And that was me just trusting that, again, God's got them. And, Timothy 1:7, for God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Right? And how is that serving you if you're focusing on fear? I have 2 teenagers. If I fear every single time they leave the house, oh my God, they're going to get hit by a car, blah, 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 blah. I feel like our thoughts manifest our life. So sometimes we can bring on the horrible things that we're fearing can actually come true because our thoughts are so powerful. So if I'm focusing on, thank you, Lord, for keeping my kids safe, and just having faith, again, that everything works out. God's got them. God's taking control of my kids. Whatever other fears, like fear that I'm not going to have enough money to pay for something. I've had that fear. I've been on my knees praying like, God, what am I going to do? But you know what? He gives me an idea. That's my intuition. He guides me. Once I ask him, he will, put something in my path. I truly believe God gave me network marketing. It changed my life. I became a totally different person. That got me on this trajectory to know that there's more for me in life. And this blueprint, to make money online. I truly believe God is like, here you go. And honestly, he gave me my job. He gave me the flexibility and the job that I have today that I'm so, so thankful for. And I can look back and, moving out 4 years ago on my own was scary. But you know what? I knew it would be more painful, fearful to stay where I was than to follow that desire for more and know my value and my worth to go after what I wanted. And that fear, I can look back, God has completely provided and taken care of me. So that is just complete faith. Number 5, choose your thoughts intentionally. So I talked about this a little bit, but we are in control of our thoughts. And if we are not careful, if we are not intentional, we can have the negative thoughts, right? Negative self-talk, negative doubts, fear, anxiety. I don't watch the news anymore because that does not fill me with joy. That gives me fear. So I don't watch that. I don't watch scary movies. I don't have a desire to put that fear or negative self-talk or negative talk. I don't hang around with people that are negative. I don't listen to words that are negative or that hurt me. I make that decision. And I have really been building my own, self-love and self-worth and asking myself, what is the truth? Right? So Philippians 4:8, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, think about such things. So your thoughts shape your reality. If we're my whole life, I believed the lie that I was not good enough. Someone probably told me, I felt, I probably raised my hand in school once and I had the wrong answer. And I thought, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart. I'm dumb. So sometimes when we have a belief, anything that happens that validates that gets stronger and deeper into our core. So for 40 some years, I had this thought and this belief that I was not good enough. So anytime I heard somebody say, you suck, you're horrible, you're this, you're that, and anything negative, I took and believed that even further. And then I realized, no, that's not true, right? That's not what God says about me. And we have to really be cognizant of that. We have to be intentional. We have to do the work, right? We have to journal. We have to do affirmations, all those things. But again, down to it, it's really trusting God's word and God's faith. And I journal all the time. I'll journal my, gratitude, and then I'll write Miranda, and whatever comes, that's God talking to me, and he fills me up, and it's his truth, and it always feels loving and kind. That's how I know it's him. Take inspired action. I love this one. I've been really working on this one this year. So, if you're building a business or if you're working on your health goals, and you really have to find what feels good to you. This is, again, where it doesn't come down to just a goal or a vision. It's how do you feel? And do those things, right? So inspired action is number 1, God gives me a thought or a desire, and I'm going to go do that because it feels good. It feels joy. I know for my health, I love to walk outside. I'm in Chicago, so the winter's not great, but in the summer, I'm outside, usually barefoot in the grass, walking around the block, getting my 10,000 steps. Sometimes listening to something, maybe a podcast, but it brings me joy to be outside, to be walking, to be increasing my health. And in my business, I started doing things and they didn't feel good. They weren't in alignment with either what I wanted, who I was, my vision, just didn't feel good. So I stopped doing them because to me, building a business or building an income online or whatever you're doing in life should feel good, right? Why? Yeah, we're going to have some pain here and there, obviously, but why would I do something that doesn't feel good? Or if I'm dating somebody, if it doesn't feel in alignment with what I want, who I am, you know down in your gut. That is trusting God's voice and intuition, whether or not it fits, whether or not it's in alignment with you. And for me, it's being authentic to who I am and what I want in life. So again, just taking inspired action out of joy and love and peace and when it comes, rather than, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that later. If it's exciting, if it's something you want to do, then do it now. So again, if if you're interested in making income online, if you're interested in me being your coach and helping you, I cannot wait. I have a goal to help one person a day. So if that's you, again, you can go to my website, believeindailypay.com. The link is in the description. But I hope you hear my heart. I just want to encourage anybody that just maybe isn't walking daily with God, or know who He is, or trusting yourself, or becoming your authentic self. These are all things I worked on in the past almost 10 years now, which is crazy. I think I thought, oh my gosh, I wanted it to happen like this, right? I wanted better relationships, better health, better income, more fulfilled, more joy. I wanted all those things, better relationships with my kids, my family. And that's things you work on daily, right? So I can look back, again, it's about perception and mindset. I can look back and say, gosh, in 10 years, you've barely done anything. But the truth is, I have so much more peace, so much more joy. And it takes intentionality, and it takes, for me, hearing God's voice and trusting Him that He's getting us to where we want to be. So I hope this added value. I just love sharing my heart, and I love connecting with especially other moms like me that are, maybe struggling, not happy, fear, anxiety, and you're wanting more peace, love, joy. You got to invest in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, and I'm here for you.